Good morning, you guys. If you've been following along, last thing we did was paint the parts and also get the shock mounts welded on as well as the gusset. Today what we're going to do is weld in the hydraulic bump stop can as well as the limit strap mount. Let's get going. Alright, we're back. Now, how I want to start this side is probably move this brake line because I feel like it's going to be in the way of that bump stop can. And I'm likely going to take this whole bracket and bump stop off and just redo my own. I think it's going to be a lot easier than slowly cutting into this like I talked about and working it in. And I'm not so sure it would actually clearance or get down far enough for where I can get like the maximum amount of up travel out of this. I got it off, it's cleaned up. Let's check it out real quick. And then I am going to break for lunch. Here we go. Grinding and cleaning up, I swear, is like my least favorite part of all of this. But prep work is prep work. I'll see you guys after lunch. Alright, I am back from lunch, and what I want to start with is getting the coilover and the shock on and figuring out exactly what full droop is going to be so I can adjust this 12-inch strap that comes with this kit. Oh, look at that, that's pretty cool. That's no joke. Hey! There's no way this is full droop, that'd be crazy. Cool, okay, well, coilover's in. And while I'm thinking about it, I came up with this little, I don't know, tool I guess it'd be. All it is 2-inch gray Schedule 40 conduit, and it is almost exactly the same outside diameter as this reservoir, and there's no way I'm welding on this with these reservoirs on. So what I did is I cut this exactly at 7 inches, because these are exactly 9. So theoretically, this strap, after it's welded in, wherever it goes, is going to be 1 inch in on each side. I feel like that's good enough to hold it on, and it'll look kind of nice and uniform. So what I did is I grabbed these little mounts from the kit and I just strapped them on there, and then the plan, so that's not going to go there. I'll do something funky right here. Yeah, what I'll end up doing is mounting it right about there. Okay. Eyeball it right there. Where's my tape measure? And now I know since that bracket's coming in 1 inch, that'd be the end. I'm gonna mark an inch right here. Perfect. Ish. And the other cool thing about this being the same outside diameter, when I have it up there and I tack it, I'll know if this tube's going to hit or contact with anything. And I know that right there is where I wanted the 1 inch in. So I'm just going to kind of scratch this a little bit. And now I have 4 marks. And later on, you just tack that right on in. I will leave this one for now a little better. Alright. Shock time. So I guess there is a few options for shocks on this kit that is from JD. This is their in-house one that they have valved and worked on. There's a two tube or 2 bypass and then like a 3-way bypass. Something along those lines. I'm probably butchering it. But this is their free bleed shock that they have sent to King and got the specs that they wanted from it. And I actually got to talk to one of the guys on the phone and I said, oh hey, I don't even know what I'm doing ordering these shocks because I've never bought King shocks. And I was like, can you explain why there's like a free bleed option? And what he was telling me is that those other two, the 3-way or 2-way, something like that, they make a ton of noise and can get extremely annoying. And if I'm going to drive this at all, somewhat daily, these will be the best because they'll be a lot more quiet. And all in all, I think these are, I mean, this isn't going to be a race truck with a cage and going down to Baja. But this will be more than enough to make me happy. Ooh, made it. Funky. Okay. I wonder if that's going to have room. Oh. Nope. I'm gonna have to hammer that body just a little bit, or inner fender. But I think might be able to. No. No, scratching it. Okay, now I've got this coilover bolted in, and there's just no way that this shock's quite gonna bolt in right now. So that just tells me that I need to use the shock when I'm measuring for full droop so that shock doesn't pull apart. Even though it's really close, I wanna measure that 1 inch of stretch on the straps with this shock, because we definitely don't want it tearing apart when I'm bombing through a field screwing around. So that means we can take off this coilover and kind of just set it aside until we're completely done, because I'm not using it for mock-up purposes, and I've already marked where I want my tube up here. So I'm gonna get this taken off, we'll bolt this shock in, we'll put this strap, the limit strap on, and start to mark it and see where we can put our limit strap up here on the frame, somewhere in here. every time I touch this thing, pine needles or dirt fall out. One or the other. Powder coat on this is unforgiving. If you guys are doing this too, just take your time. Or you're just gonna bang the crap out of it. Booyah. Alright, so this little limit strap set up here from JD. Obviously, this is going to bolt down here, or maybe not obviously. But check this out. This is going to go on the frame somewhere in here. And it comes with these two little keys, which is pretty slick, because what I want to do is I want to set it up so that it welds in just like that. And then, so this will account for, over time, this strap is going to stretch, just no matter what, to fabric. So when it does stretch, and you notice it somehow, you can go to here. And it takes up roughly, I think I measured about 1/2 inch. And then when it's on its last legs, and you are not wanting to spend more money yet on straps, you can flip it all the way to the very top. And that'll give you an extra inch. So that's quite a life out of a strap. And I don't think these are terribly expensive, but this is pretty slick. I like this. So what I want to do is put the strap on, bolt it top and bottom, just like this, and see where it lands on the frame right now at full droop. And then what I want to do is use a tape, go up 1 inch, make a mark, and that'll be my 1 inch that I'm accounting for stretch on these. Because the general rule of thumb, from what I've read, is that for every 12 inches, and this is a 12-inch strap, eye to eye, you have to account for 1 inch of stretch. There we go. And since I want to keep this 4x4 to attach this CV, I'm going to try and do everything I can to kind of go around it. And theoretically, if I hang this right, it's going to compress like that, and it'll go this way, away from that spinning CV, should I have it in 4-wheel drive. So that means I'm going to put it on the left side of this. Since we got the strap on the left side of the mount down here, I'm going to do the same at the top. Squeeze out whatever room I can. I think probably want it bolted from this side. So theoretically, since this is our limiting factor for this system, the shock I mean, should be able to, oh yeah. Just too excited over here. I actually really like that. And I'll probably take this off the stand and show you guys again. But, I mean, just come 1/2 inch or so off of this bracket for the third member. And the strap's somewhat pretty straight. Kind of like that angle. The strap is nice and straight. It's pretty tight by hand. I'm going to put one mark at the very top, because I know I need to mount it 1 inch up. Tape measure. I need one connected to my hand at all times. I swear. We have like 3 house tape measures. My wife loves it, especially when she needs to use them. Tape measure. I think you guys are zoomed in. So from the top, oh yeah, we're almost perfectly 1 inch. And since this piece is square, I'm actually going to bring it down just a hair so the whole thing gets welded. which is perfect because an inch, very top, yeah, that'll be almost perfect. It's just below our 1 inch mark. So if I bring it down just a hair to the weld, it'll be perfect. That means we can take our shock off. Get you guys reset, take the shock off. I'll show you what I'm going to do about the strap and how I'm going to weld it. I'm probably not going to have it on when I weld. Okay, shock is off, and I've got a little scribe tool because I want to get the angle right and not weld with this strap on or even tack it really. I don't want anything to get hot right here. Okay, so we know that that right there was full droop at tension, and we need to come up to right at the very top of the bend in this frame, and that'll give us the length that we need. That was a really long thought. I want to come off about 1/2 inch. I'm going to mark it. Close foot. Okay, so I know I want the top about right there. It would have been good to leave the shock on so I could have got this angle. But I've got a little tension on it here. Now I'm going to scribe some of that angle that I like. Because right here the strap is nice and straight and not off to the side. Got a nice line there for meaty. You probably won't see it that close up. But it's nice and level at the bottom of the frame. And it's almost at the top. So I know I'll have that 1 inch. I'm going to get that welder set up, back you guys up a little bit, and I'm going to tack it, and then we are going to put it back on and double check. So that's a smart thing to do. I just want to double triple check before I just throw down a serious weld and create an hour of work if I did it in the wrong spot. I mean, that'd be just, no, I'm good. Rework is like the bane of my existence. So I don't actually like that angle, so I think I'm going to buzz that off. I'll probably bring it over counterclockwise just a little bit. Let's see if you guys can see. It's kind of got this over this little wave. And I think if I just turn this top mount just a little more, spend the time now, this strap will be a lot straighter. Because I want it on the left side. I could probably fix this whole issue by putting the strap, put the strap over here. But I want it to stay away from this CV shaft and have quite a bit of clearance even at full drop. So I'm going to zip that off real quick, move it over and try again. it, here it is. I like it much better. It's got a nice straight line, less of a side load where it would maybe twist it off. So I'm gonna let this camera cool, weld this up, and I'll show you guys the result. Okay, here we are. We are gonna start working on this hydraulic bump stop can and getting it welded in. So the thought process behind this is I've got this right here, got about 5/8 of an inch right there, measuring from this lip. That's about where I want it to stop. I know the shock isn't fully compressed. There's just no way. So what I've done is I've taped up this end because I know when I slide that bump stop in, when it's fully compressed from this lip to the very tip of the white bump on it, or not bump, what do you call that? Anyway, the cone piece on the end is exactly 3 inches. And I went through my sockets and I've got this O'Reilly 32 mil or something. Probably that Pitman arm. And it is exactly 3 inches. So what I'm going to do is set it somewhat centered of this bump stop pad where I want it to hit. And I'm going to keep working this around until I've got it where I like it. And I'm going to tack it at the back and then use some cardboard and design some mounts for it so I can weld this can straight to the frame. And at the very end I'll cut a little piece out and box the top too, so it's nice and strong, because really this is the only thing limiting up travel on this, and if it busts off then it's just going to keep smashing and smashing and smashing this fender, and you'll have $400 float off down the road if you don't catch it in time. What I need is like something that'll magnetize to this and magnetize to that, and then just kind of like work it around wherever I want it in space. That'd be really cool. And then I could like mock it up. Since I don't have that, the idea to hold it is to put a nice little tack weld on the back of the can to this ridge somewhere in there, because it's not going to be straight up and down. There's no way that's going to clear this shock in the tube right here. So we're going to tuck it in tight and keep it with the same angle roughly as this shock. It'll look nice, I swear. Or it won't. Okay, that's feeling slightly solid. I don't know how confident I am about that quite yet. There's our black mark. Could probably go over a little bit, but that's, I mean, you gotta be happy with that. The reason I'm using this is because I know when this screwdriver goes all the way through here, there's about 3 inches exactly coming out the bottom. But gotta get it in there. I don't want to. It's almost exactly 3 inches. So we're just a little bit off, but we have some room to spare because we left 5/8 right there. I think I'm going to take the screwdriver out and trace some cardboard, tack it in, clean it, and, maybe call it good enough. just did a bunch of cutting and trying, and here we are. It's gonna roughly look like that. And if I like it after it's all tacked, I think what I'll do is I'll use another piece of cardboard and put it on the top, and then just use a ball peen and figure out what the shape is up there, and then box that puppy in. But that's only if we tack this in and it holds it right where we want it, which is about 1/2 inch to 5/8 clearance right there. So I am gonna cut these out, and I'm gonna let that camera cool off, and then you'll get to see me tack it, and then I'll put that bump stop back in, compress the whole thing, and then we will measure right here. If we like it, we'll leave it. If not, we gotta start from ground one. We made these cutouts. Let's tack them in, and again we're gonna go back and put this bump stop in. I'll grab this, push it all the way up, and make sure we have clearance right here, from here to the top of this arm. I think if we do like it, I'm going to put a ball peen up here. I think I already said that, but I want to box this top, because I think if there's any force on this, it's going up and kind of coming in. So if there's something holding it out and holding the sides, I think this thing's plenty strong enough. Especially because this thing is not the heaviest vehicle ever. Okay. Oh yeah, I still really like where it is. Alright, cross your fingers. Then I'll pull this whole thing off. Ooh. So while we wait for that to cool, to get this last bit right here on the outside, I just want to touch on this project because I'm really nearing the end. I have to weld this in, move this brake line for you and show you guys that, but after that, I just have to dismantle and touch the paint up. And we're ready to go, other than the other side. But if you guys are thinking about taking this on, do it. It's not that bad. Take your time. Don't do this to your daily. Don't. This is definitely not going to be a weekend project for most guys. And I wouldn't say I'm like the most experienced ever, but I've got quite a bit of experience mechanicking and taking stuff apart, and a little bit of welding and fabbing. And I mean, if you're completely fresh to this, just get ready for I don't know, 3-4 weekends of just figuring it out. It's not impossible though, and I hope this video helps you guys. So I am going to wait on this to cool, and I will turn you guys back on when I think it's cooled off enough. Okay, I almost forgot about this handy contraption I was telling you guys about earlier. So we're going to get these tacked on, both of them, before we finish up on that and make that top piece and box it. And then lastly, weld this brake line back on. I'm gonna try and get it somewhere in here between this strap mount and the bump stock tube. Surprised the missus hasn't asked where her kitchen scissors have gone. Had them for, I don't know, at least a day. Usually she'd know by now. There we go. Funky. I'm gonna cut it out. I'll weld it in. And we're back. New battery. Got our little piece here. Sheesh. Technical difficulties. I'm gonna tack this in. Weld it in. welded in. Let's look at it. Not terrible. I just stitch welded the ring on top of the can. Didn't want to get too hot, crazy with that one. But that's in. Disassembled. I'm gonna clean up this whole mess and I'll set you guys up. You can see me put some primer and paint on tonight. And then tomorrow afternoon, it'll be final assembly time. Okay guys, everything's painted. It's got the last coat on. Let's check it out. Simple, just some flat black. These are the keys for the straps, supports. Got the spare keys over there. Let's clean this garage up. It sure does feel good to have the garage halfway back to normal. All the plastic's off. Yeah. It's finally happening. It's crazy. After 3 years. I still can't believe it. Well, next stop, final assembly. that'll be a fun little video to shoot. I hope you guys enjoy it. This was a fun project. I'll touch base later.